The leaks for chapter 327 part 2 are out, and they are even crazier. Firstly, we see more of Nagi, and not to mention that the first side B starts off right away, with Nagi being the first one out. Also, we get to see Ego telling something to Isagi, which left me super curious. So not to waste any time, let's get right into it. Alright, so the chapter starts off with all of the people starting to gather in the room. Kira then spots Nagi, and he is completely blown away as he spots him. He thinks back to Nagi's insane 5-stage volley against Isagi in the bastard Munchen game and can't believe his eyes. Haneru then adds in and calls Nagi the guy who barely failed in the rankings, which is such disrespect to the boy Nagi, but at the same time, he isn't wrong. After that, some random also adds in and is just as shocked as Kira was, as he wonders why he is even starting here. The goat, Shiego Mizuki, then also asks why he has to be in the beginning. Anyway, suddenly someone points to the TV and says it's that. However, here I am a bit confused because we don't get any more info on it, as we instead go over to Haneru, who says that there are 13 people in this room, and among those 13, we obviously have Kira, Haneru, Nagi, and Shigo. But we also have Nishioka, who is the last noteworthy player, and honestly, seeing him in the team gives me so much hope. Anyway, after that everyone starts to put on their suits, and that's when Kira takes his chance to speak a bit to Nagi. He looks over to him and asks him why he is here. It then gets dark behind Nagi, as he looks straight at Kira and tells him that he is being pretty rude by talking so bluntly to someone he just met. Kira is firstly shocked, but he then says sorry, but that he just wants to know more about the guy who fought with Isagi. After that, we get a close-up panel of Nagi's eye. After that, he sounds surprised as he asks Kira if he hates Isagi. Kira tells him that he is spot on and that he hates him. After that, we see him in the next panel where he looks super menacing and furious as he says that he can't describe how much he hates Isagi. However, right when Kira was trying to aura farm, Buratsuta suddenly appeared behind him and welcomed everyone. He calls them his dear geniuses and asks them if they are all set and ready to go. After that, we get a close-up panel of his ugly face as he says that this is the first selection of side B, which will be a birdcage. He says that the rules are simple. The person chosen now will pick one partner, those two become the birds, and the remaining 11 become the cage, forming a ring around them, and then the game begins. Also, I just want to add that on this page we do get a small panel of Nishioka, which is just great. After that, Buratsuta continues to bore us with his words as he says that the 11 players must pass the ball around without letting the 2 birds steal it. If the 2 birds steal the ball, they win. Saying that the time limit is 136 seconds, however, the pairs that succeed move on to the next stage, but if they fail, they stay in the cage and attempt the next game again. The next game will restart once the birds choose their next target. However, only the first 3 pairs to break through will be accepted. Buratsuta then tells Nagi that the first bird is himself. After that, we see Nagi starting to stretch, and his aura is already starting to come back out as he says that he understands and that it's been a while since he has felt this feeling. After that, Buratsuta speaks up again and tells Nagi to choose the partner who will fight alongside him. Not that he really needs a partner, but whatever. Hey, it's Natsu mid-editing here, and I just wanted to pause the video to ask you to subscribe if you haven't already, and while you're already down there, why not leave a like as well? Anyway, Nagi looks over to Kira and tells him that he chose him. Nagi explains that he grew up in Blue Lock with Isagi. That's exactly why he needs to destroy him so badly, and just like that, the first game starts, and we see Haneru on the side, who says that he's got it, which seems to be a thing that he says a lot. Anyway, after that, we do the most random cutoff ever as we go to Isagi in the changing room, and Ego comes by and calls out his name. Isagi looks over, and Ego then asks him if they can talk, just the 2 of them. Now this is literally crazy, and I can't wait for this. Anyway, the ending text says, even with the start of side B, Blue Lock still continues. What is the true nature of the feeling of urgency at the deep end of the World Cup first round? Now after that, I can announce that there is no break next week, which is so nice, and on top of that, the next chapter will be called God. Now you could say whatever you want, but I feel like this will for sure be centered around Isagi and Ego, and not Nagi, or anyone inside B. And I do think that I might be able to cook with what Ego wants to talk about, as I feel like I have a pretty decent guess. However, before that we are talking about side B. So the side B segment was pretty solid in my opinion. We got a bit more of Kira's fury, and I guess pure hate for Isagi, as he looked extremely mad at him when he said that he wanted to crush him. Honestly, I have seen a lot of people saying that Kira doesn't have the right to be mad at Isagi, as he would have done the same thing. And while I kind of see that point, you have to realize that Kira thought of Isagi as not necessarily a friend, but someone like an acquaintance. And to be taken out from someone like that firstly just has to hurt, But that's far from the worst, as still while feeling like he got betrayed by Isagi. After that, he had to watch Isagi getting the chance to play against the Japan U20 team, which Kira most likely looked up to. Also, not only that, but becoming the star out of that game. But that's far from over, as he then saw him playing with literal pros, and even the best striker in the world. How could he not be jealous out of his mind because of Isagi, as he got everything that he has ever wanted, just because he shot the ball at him from the start? I know for a fact that I would have the biggest grudge if that happened to me, so I can for sure see where Kira is coming from. But still, it's nice to see his pure hate for Isagi becoming a lot more clearer. I feel like that perfectly sets him up to be the rival to Isagi, who desperately hates him with all that he's got. However, since Nagi chose him, it would be kinda fun if Kira became like an acquaintance with Nagi as well. And then, at the end, Nagi is the one to take him out. I wouldn't be too mad if that were to happen if I'm fully honest, but still I do think that Kira will succeed. Now let's quickly go over this new game formed by Buratsuta, and now I'm just glad that it wasn't the tag game. Not because I hated the tag game, but because it's nice to see something brand new. However, I'm a bit unsure how they will make it exciting, as it's pretty much just passing the ball around, but I'm sure that they will be able to cook with it somehow. Sorry, I'm just ranting at this point. But now let's get over to the character because, as we know, only 6 players are allowed to get forward. Now I think that it's clear that Nagi and Kira will complete it because, well, Nagi is without a doubt going to complete it, so Kira will just get a free ride thanks to Nagi. After that, I feel like Haneru is a sure bet as well, because he has had way too much screen time for him to just get cut off here, so he will for sure complete it. After that, I think that Nishioka is also pretty safe. Will he get done over in the end? Well, yes, however, the author wouldn't include a previous character if he wasn't going to get through, especially not someone like Nishioka, who still has that mystery surrounding him. After that, call me crazy, but I also think that Shiego is pretty safe. I'm sure that the author has seen how much of a meme he has become, so it's great to just keep in him for meme purposes. Also, he even got a line in this chapter, which is something, but he has been shown too much times and also has a too notable appearance for him to get cut of here. After that, there will be one more random who gets to join in on the fun. I was able to spot someone who had a mask on himself, and he looked decent cool, so I will just place my bet on him. That's the 6 players who I think will advance, but I'm only super confident on the first 5. But please let me know down in the comments who you think will make it. Also, I doubt that Kira and Nagi will take a long time. And because of that, I think that Haneru will be next up, and I'm so curious to find out more about his playstyle. Because for some reason, it feels like he could have something super cool up his sleeve, but it might just be me who hypes him up way too much. I tend to do that pretty often with, for example, Nishioka, but it's also a fun thing to do. Now let's finally move on to Isagi and Ego. Now I feel like it's here that it will finally come. The much anticipated Ego flashback. I feel like when Isagi was going for the goal, and obviously scoring the goal, also saying that Ego's tactics wasn't enough, I do think that when Ego was watching it, it reminded him of himself when he was also playing, because as we know, he was a very good player, and was even a rival to Noel Noah. So I think that Ego will come to Isagi and tell him that he is right now in a dangerous territory, and that something maybe not bad might happen, but advising Isagi to be careful about something. I was thinking if it was that Isagi's ego was getting too big for his own head, but that defeats the whole concept of ego in the series, so it won't be that. However, my bet is that Ego was just like Isagi, but then something happened which forced him to quit playing soccer, and his ego saw Isagi out on the field right now. He knew that Isagi was also going down that same path. It might be an injury that Ego is scared of, or something totally different, which could be his end. But I strongly believe that it will be what Ego will go and talk about. Or I might just be delusional, and Ego will come and trash talk Isagi for talking shit about his tactics, and saying that it wasn't enough for him. Or he will simply come and compliment him, and telling him that Ego had no way of predicting that goal himself, but that Isagi did it. Anyway, please let me know what you think their conversation will be about in the comments. Also, let me know your overall thoughts on this madness of a chapter. Anyway, if you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel, and while you are at it, leave a comment and a like, as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video, which will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.